Shall I just start then, yeah? Okay. Hello, my name's Verity Lockie and I'm the producer of X Trillion.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Church and I'm the director of X Trillion.
I first got involved when Eleanor approached me just before she went on the expedition because she was looking for a producer. What made you want to go on it in the first place, Eleanor?
Well, I've been making films for a long time, maybe like 15 years, about environmental issues. And most of the films I made had a campaigning angle to them and were about specific environmental and human subjects. But I had found that I didn't really always have the opportunity to bring in a real narrative or story, and I try and bring as much character as I could and make the films as interesting or as beautiful or as impactful as possible. But I think they still had this very much a sort of campaigning element to them, and so I heard about the expedition and I was actually asked to apply to be the filmmaker on board. And I thought, wow, this is brilliant because I've been thinking about plastics and had done some work previously on communicating at the time. So I went on the expedition 5 years ago, and at that time, people's understanding of plastics and why they were a problem, other than, the actual physical thing of looking at plastic and it being horrible and, birds being tangled up in it, was quite limited because I had already got this understanding that the plastics in the environment and the chemicals in the environment, which X Trillion explores and looks at, was affecting us and how our bodies work. So it just felt like a really brilliant sort of vessel to um, yeah, use an appropriate word, to put this idea of awareness raising and sort of thinking about plastic and what it does to us and what we can do about it in an actual real narrative and make a character driven film about it. And it's all sort of based around this brilliant adventure. So I don't want to watch environmental films. You don't want to watch environmental films. I mean, they're very important, but I think it's great to have the opportunity to make a film about something that does have an environmental and health side to it, well, at its core, but there's very much just a story.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that really attracted me to the project was, hey, I really liked you, but also just the idea that, you want to make a film that's not wagging your finger at people or making them feel depressed and like it's all a waste of time. It's nice to make a film that is not just about the environment, but also exploring women in science and adventure and things like that, which I thought was like a really lovely way of approaching a film.
Yeah, and I guess also like we are now even more aware now than we were then, the challenges that we face ahead of us, whether it's climate or environmental or social or economic. And I think really exploring like how humans can react to these respond and react to these things, but also how there's no one solution to any of these issues, and there's not one person who can solve everything, or one type of person, or one person in one type of job. That actually, it's a we need a multi-pronged approach, but also we need people with all the different skills and different approaches and different emotional responses to things to see how we go forwards.
I think also what's really interesting for me is in the amount of time it's taken us through COVID and everything to get the film finished is how much public awareness has changed in that time and how this film has become even more timely in a way, in terms of what people know about microplastics and the effects it has on the world and on our bodies, etc.
And it feels like we've gone through a stage where everyone, um, finally realizes that there are environmental issues and like things that we need to sort, challenges that we have ahead of us, and it's not just going to affect someone elsewhere. I think people very much understand that these things are going to affect them, but we've also gone through the stage of like extreme fear or paralysis of it, and it's almost like the dust has settled a bit, like, okay, well, what are we going to do about this? And it's a great opportunity, and that's I think we both believe that's how the only way we can go forwards, and that's really what the film reflects. And I think you're right, it couldn't be a more appropriate time for the film to come out.
Yeah. I think the thing that I found really interesting, because I've never been involved in environmental film or in such a way to do with the environment as you have, because I know you spent loads of your career making films about the environment and also as an activist in your own life. But I think the thing that really surprised me about the whole microplastics thing was that I had the same vision, that it would be like this whole island of plastic. And actually, it was like so surprising that actually you can't hardly see the plastic most of the time. And that's what makes it even scarier, because those bits are so tiny that, you know, that they're being ingested. And that, I think that was the thing that really surprised me. It was a learning curve when I was watching the rushes and everything.
Yeah. I think that's what most people think, and it sort of makes it a lot scarier. But at the same time, yeah, I think the film doesn't want to leave the audience feeling scared. I think the audience needs to feel, well, the whole point of the film starting as you get on the boat and coming off is you're meant to go through this experience, and the narrative is meant to take you on an emotional journey of how you feel about this, because it's happening and it's there and it's not going away. So we need to sort of, yeah, I really wanted the film to sort of take you to a place of complete understanding, but then also like, actually, we can, you know, we can't get rid of all of it, but going forwards, what are we going to do to make it better without being really naive? I think it's just a practical response to the world we're living in now, isn't it?
And what would you say that the biggest challenges have been about this film for you?
Funding.
No, forget filming at a 90-degree angle. It was the funding.
I mean, the filming was challenging, but I absolutely loved it. I mean, I'm never shy. I love a challenge, and yeah, I love the physicality of filming at sea. I filmed at sea quite a bit, often on like fishing boats, for long periods of time, and in really bad weather. I mean, in all honesty, in the film, the production side of things, it was leaving my children for that amount of time that was very difficult. I couldn't, as we were leaving the harbour, I was thinking, what the hell have you got yourself into now? Like, why are you doing this? Is it worth it? Because ultimately, the journey where we went, there was no one who could come and rescue us. So there was an actual like serious element of danger. And I do kind of like get a kick out of adrenaline and, you know, doing things that sort of really push you to the boundaries of like what's sort of normal or safe or things like that. But I think I did think, like, is this film going to be important enough? Is this issue important enough to actually be leaving my really small children behind? Or have I just completely like gone off the rails on this situation? But I think when I was on the boat, I very much felt like it was, and ever since I have. And actually, without the film even being finished, the amount of conversations that we've had around it and the number of people that have engaged with the issue and with, yeah, I think really taking on that approach that we have, that, you know, it's a really horrendous situation that we're in, but how are we going to go forwards? And I feel really passionate about it. And so my daughters, who are now 9 and 7, they're really proud that I did that, and that's great. And I have 3 brothers and was brought up by my dad, and I have always had little big parts of me that felt like, why should I not do things because I'm a girl or a woman, where a man probably wouldn't really think twice about jumping on that boat and doing that. So I think that made it okay. But yeah, so in terms of the production, it was leaving the children. I mean, it was exhausting. I was filming about 20 hours a day, not non-stop, but, you know, there with my camera all the time. And when I wasn't filming, I was doing my shifts and like doing the sailing, the cooking, the cleaning, and all the rest of it. I didn't sleep very much. And it was stressful wondering how the narrative was going to come together, because actually at the beginning we really weren't sure if the weather was going to be so bad that we wouldn't even do any science. Yeah. But beyond that, I think the funding has been the hardest thing, because it's my first feature. You've obviously worked on other feature films before, and people aren't always that keen on investing in people who haven't had features before. So it's a very chicken and egg situation, which is really frustrating. But yeah, there's been so much goodwill around the film.
Yeah. You've
So
been really helpful and
yeah.
kind, definitely.
Yeah.
And so last, let's just tell everyone about our amazing website and our plans for the film going forward. So we're planning a UK cinema tour to start off with, and also a tour of educational schools, universities, etc., and giving people resources apart from just the film to learn more about the subjects, you know, about around microplastics, etc. Eleanor, what else do we? Eventually, it will be available to watch, hopefully, in different countries with different channels or through a streaming service.
Yeah,
But
and
that's
I think beyond that, we'll have some people will host community screenings in different parts of the world and do workshops around it. So we've got a great network of people who are at the ready to do that. So yeah, the film isn't just a film; it really lives on beyond all of that, and it's just meant to be a catalyst, really. I think. I mean, it will be a film that people enjoy watching, but then also just a catalyst for looking at what to do next.
our website.
www.xtrillionfilm.com.
Brilliant. And the next project?
Oh,
Well,
You're
the next
talking
project is
about
going to be
that,
even more exciting. So watch
Yeah.
this space. We've got
Exactly.
something very exciting coming up that's going to be about revolution and system
Absolutely.
change. And we're very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. But thanks so much for hosting the film and
Yes,
for
thank
watching
you.
the film. And yeah, please do get in touch if you want to. We're always here to answer questions, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thank you, and thank you for having our film in your festival. We really appreciate it. Take
Thanks
care.
so much. Bye.